Tonight, Tyler Brown spoke to a woman. She was involved in this unsolicited kiss from Governor Cuomo, one of the many stories of alleged sexual harassment today in a damning state assembly investigation. It found evidence of sexual harassment and more. Tyler Brown now with the story from Vill, speaking at her Greece home, one of 12 women whose allegations against Cuomo were cited in the Assembly's 45-page report released today. Tyler?
Yeah, Jenny, Greece native Vill and her attorney, Gloria Allred, tell me they were pleased with today's findings and they hope this is a sign that inappropriate behavior against women will no longer be tolerated. This photo, released by Vill and her attorney last March, shows the moment Vill claims she was sexually harassed by then Governor Cuomo. He was visiting her home, damaged by Lake Ontario floods in 2017. In defense, Cuomo says kissing people has always been his way of comforting others, but Vill says it went too far that day.
He was definitely a womanizer, and I don't believe that it took him kissing 3 times, calling me beautiful, inviting me to an event, sending photos. I don't believe that was all for comforting. It was more than comforting in my eyes.
Vill was one of 12 women interviewed by the state assembly during its impeachment probe investigation. Cuomo has denied allegations of sexual misconduct. The investigation also found that Cuomo ordered state workers to help with his book during work hours and substantially revised a report on COVID deaths in nursing homes. Cuomo's attorney Rita Glavin refuted the findings, saying it, quote, simply parrots the Attorney General's flawed report, and that the assembly, quote, refused to provide the former governor with access to all evidence, again denying the governor's due process. But the report itself disputes that, saying Cuomo refused to comply in any meaningful way. While maintaining his innocence, Cuomo resigned in August and avoided an impeachment trial. Vill and her attorney believe that in itself was a victory.
I'm glad that he's paying the price. I'm also glad that he is no longer the governor of New York, because the New Yorkers deserve better.
It's long past time to value women and what happens to them. And I just know that women are no longer willing to be silent anymore.
The state assembly's investigation into former Governor Andrew Cuomo is complete. It delivers a damning report on the issues of sexual harassment, nursing home deaths, and a lucrative book deal. The investigation found the former governor sexually harassed women, ordered state workers to help with his book during working hours, and substantially revised a report on COVID deaths in nursing homes.
It is disheartening that this happened, but now the citizens of New York have the information that they deserve regarding those complaints.
Cuomo attorney Rita Glavin says the Assembly report simply parrots the Attorney General's flawed report, and that the Assembly refused to provide the former governor with access to all evidence, again denying the governor due process. But the investigators dispute that, saying Cuomo refused to comply in any meaningful way. Cuomo resigned in August, avoiding an impeachment trial. He has denied allegations of sexual misconduct, but the investigators say they found overwhelming evidence that the former governor engaged in multiple incidents of sexual harassment. On the $5 million book deal, a Cuomo spokesman says workers volunteered because they were mentioned in the book and wanted to make sure the representations concerning them were accurate. And on nursing home data, the investigation concludes the underreporting of deaths was the result of difficulty using a new data collection process, but that there was some reluctance to admit error when it was discovered and to correct the published numbers immediately.
What I see are the actions of a public official that at times put his interest before the people's interest.
Well, the findings of the Assembly Judiciary Committee's report are not surprising to families left without their loved ones after they got COVID in a nursing home. Some telling me this confirmation of a lack of transparency is disturbing.
I love you, buddy. Love you too.
Ruth Wallace's mom, Regine Wallace, went to the Grand Nursing Home in Rome for rehab and ended up being locked in after COVID-19 restrictions prevented visitors to try and stop the spread. The only contact she had with her family was through a window like this. Wallace protested outside the state capitol and in front of the Grand, calling for changes to the visitation rules.
My mom did get COVID at the Grand. She survived it. I have no idea how, but she did. But so many of them did not.
The Assembly Judiciary Committee's report on their impeachment investigation into former Governor Andrew Cuomo reveals he was, quote, not fully transparent in reporting nursing home COVID deaths. Our reporting has previously uncovered the discrepancy between nursing home residents who died in their facility and those who died at a hospital. The Attorney General released a scathing report back in January, finding the number of nursing home deaths in the state may have been undercounted by as much as 50%.
Seeing it on paper is completely different, especially after you've lost your loved one.
Wallace says she would call her mom every day and she would describe the COVID wing at the Grand and the sight of body bags.
Some of those people who she knew who died weren't accounted for in a fully transparent way by the state has to be heartbreaking.
It is. They were more than just a number, more than a number that wasn't even represented accurately.
Although this report confirms what families suspected all along, the feeling of loss has never gone away.
They're not sitting with us at holidays. They're not, getting a Sunday away with us. They're not, FaceTiming or speaking to us. So if they're not here and you're continuing to cover that up, enough is enough.
Ruth Wallace's mom ended up passing away at just 64 years old in April due to other health problems. But Wallace tells me she's been in touch with other families who lost someone at the Grand to COVID-19. And this report is just another gut punch for them.